I feel like this is wind magic, which is something I'll have to teach when I have more experience with it. But it's like when I set off for my Wickedly Divine Feminine tour back in October, I made a playlist. I called it War of Roses, which, if you've been following along in the vlog, you know why. But I made that and I put songs in it to listen to that helped me connect with my emotions, and also made kind of a cool playlist that I sent to my DM and was like, "You want to see how it? This is how you make a fool out of yourself for love," kind of thing. But what's funny is a lot of the songs on that playlist and on my Twin Flame playlist, they're both available on my channel if you want to listen to them. It's nice to shuffle through depending on what energy you want. I have a lot of playlists available for people to do that with. Um, but the radio stations, now that we have radio, it's funny because in the green car, the radio got stolen, so we didn't listen to the radio for like a long time. This car has a radio. And it's like it's been playing back a lot of the music that I put in those playlists and stuff, and a lot of it was like meaningful stuff. Like this one, the Kokomo song always reminds me of Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy, and my DM has a very dear heart for the Muppets, and especially Kermit the Frog and Rainbow Connection, its connection with Miss Piggy, and so funny. He does like a woman that's Miss Piggy like, and I see it myself a lot of times. I know I do. In any case, I am on here just for a short minute because I just wanted. It's funny. I'm actually getting ready to go have a session with my therapist, and he's so funny. I'm curious today. Will this be a day that we work on something that says like an aha yay moment for me, or will this be just more? Will this be catching him up some more on things going on? Will I be counseling him? Will he be counseling me? It's kind of a toss up sometimes, but I like him. He's a fun character in my life, and if nothing else, talking to him oftentimes just it's like to get out what I have to say helps me define what I think about something or want to know about something or want to do about something, which is not always what he thinks, but it helps me define things, so I like that. In any case, I was thinking about, you know what, I would love to get on and talk about like I'm of mixed emotions about the place that we're in. I am actually quite happy with it. It is a little trailer kind of. I think it's a fifth wheel, or it might be called an A class. I don't know. It's like an RV, but it's not an RV. And I'm laughing because here's the thing. It is a one bedroom, and it actually has three beds in it, and it's got a fair amount of space. It's actually where my mixed emotions are is that my oldest Eamon is not happy with the squished space in it, because and it is about the size of the first hotel room that we stayed in, that we were grateful and blessed enough to have somebody help pay for us when we stayed in Everett. Although I will say this RV is better organized than that room was. Like it actually had more space in that room. It's just that I mean, you know, they make it for people to be in and out, not to live in and stuff like this. This is a little more set up to live in. Me and my Capricorn ass, I'm like, hey, it's got a working kitchenette and fridge, and like, we're gonna try to get the running water thing figured out. There's a leak in one of the tanks, but we're right next to a house where we have access to all the other shit that we might need, private bathroom, all that stuff, and we're on 10 acres. It's a humble little farm. There's a pig, and there's chickens and dogs and cats and you name it, like it's there and it's nice. And the gal on it, I just arranged something with her so that if we need to, we can stay there a couple of months while I get some stuff figured out for better housing and things like that. And they're gonna put us out in the back so we can see the views and have the more access to sunshine back there, and it'll just be nice. It'll be nice. And there's like, I guess there's a hiking trail somewhere on the thing, and they have all sorts of fun that like I've wanted to get into and learn about, and I'm hoping to learn about caring for chickens and stuff like that so I can raise my own eggs when we have our 100-acre woods homestead, you know? And like I'm really happy with it. It's actually, I mean, for me, like I'm very minimalist. I don't need much. My DM and I always joke, like I'm not the high maintenance one. I do like to have things, like, and you know, when there's resources available, I love to have things. But I am so grateful for like I'm like, hey, this is a fucking awesome space. It's our own space. We don't have to share it with anybody else. You get your own bedroom. The bed that I make up in the front area is actually perfect for my back. It's near the location that I wanted to look for us a place to have of our own. It's near spaces that I can work on renting stuff. It's near jobs and things like that, but it's far enough away too that we're not like in the middle of the city and the chaos of that, the psychic energy, and like I'm really happy with that. And it's an awesome family. I'm not going to talk a lot about them because that's their life and stuff, but they're very awesome. They're a big family, and they're very kind, and like we seem to have a fair amount in common and stuff, which is really nice. So it's like there's some friendships out of it. There's some kids my oldest son's age, and I'm hoping that he will connect with, and some kids my youngest son's age, and so I'm hoping he can come and stay a little bit too, and meet the goat and the pig and the chickens, and like he's just gonna love that. He will totally love everything about that. We used to, I had turned the front end of our house in Seattle when we had that. I turned that into my little farm garden area, and they used to help me with that. I used to love growing things with me and helping me cut back stuff. And I won't say they were necessarily really good about the hard labor chores, but they did come out and do it with me, and they always loved the result of the stuff that we grew afterwards. And so like for me, it's funny, like I'm trying to be conscious and aware that, like, you know, my soon-to-be 17-year-old this month is having some moody teenagery emotions about things, and we talked about it. We talked about it the other night, and it's funny. I was like, look, I want you to make a list of everything that you want. Like, even if it's something you know that we can't have right now in this immediate moment, or it might be spendy, or you feel like you're whining or complaining, because he told me he didn't want to burden me with stuff, and I was like, I hear you, and I freaking love you that you would be that thoughtful, especially because I know, like, he's watched me work 4 jobs in a week one of these times, and multiple jobs many weeks, and like even telling our youngest Joey, we got to see him, like, I'm always talking to people about work, you know, like I'm always looking for the next way to help us get to where our next pit stop in the journey of life is, you know what I mean? And to take care of him, to be a good role model, a responsible provider and stuff like that, you know? But I was like, look, I'm not saying, and nobody's saying that, like, the nice arrangement that we have too is if we find another place, like, we're not like tied into something right now, but this is better than the car, and it's safer, and it costs less, because it actually costs quite a bit, even in this Honda that we have, like, it still costs quite a bit to keep it on and keep it running, to keep the bird warm. You know what I mean? Like, paying for a little bit of electricity is far less expensive. And you know, so it's like, okay, and he knows this stuff, so I didn't really have to tell him all that. It's just like, look, one of the things you told me months ago, that if you could have anything you want that you'd really like, is you'd like to feel like a normal teenager. And you know what? It's okay to have moods. It's okay to want more. And like, look, we've been going through homelessness. Like, you're allowed to be upset about that in some ways, you know? Like, and it wasn't something that either one of us, like, we didn't set up the circumstance. Like, yeah, obviously we played our roles in the story, but we didn't set up the circumstances that made this necessary. This was an act of bravery on our part to get out of old bad cycles, and it's like, it's okay to feel like that's unjust. But what's funny is one of the things he said, he goes, well, I don't want to think about this as it. Like, I don't want to get too comfortable, because I want more, and I feel bad that I want more. And I said, honey, you know what? I love you. And part of that is because I hold myself to a standard of practicing being grateful for everything, and I know the way that the magic and the energy works. And I said, and I don't want you to get too deep in, like, lack of gratitude for things, because that can affect things. You're a powerful manifester. However, like, you're allowed to have your feelings about it. I wouldn't be able to be in my state of gratitude if I didn't let myself have my feelings. That was a hard lesson learned over the last couple of years. I have to let myself have my feelings, let myself have tantrums sometimes, let myself experience the squishy stuff, and learn to love it, you know? And not in a love it, I want to stay there, but going like, oh, look at me, like, I really had a problem over that, you know? Or like, man, that was really hard, but you know what? Look what I did. I overcame that. And I talked to him, I said, you know what? Do you really think this could be, like, this gonna be it for me? I was like, I tell you the truth, I could live in this for a long time. Like, I'm comfortable in small spaces like this, and quite frankly, I really like being in cars. I don't know why. Like, I just do. It's like my self-soothing place, you know? And, which is funny, I learned that that's not uncommon for someone with neurodivergence. I did not know that until last year, but I learned that. I was like, oh, okay, makes sense. I'm not alone in that. That's good. But I said, you think, like, after everything that we've been through and everything that you've seen me do, like, firsthand, you've been here with me since they kicked us out of that house. Do you really think I'm going to stop here? Like, and he says, no. And I said, on top of that, I know that you deserve more. You've always deserved more. And you've always, like, kind of been the one stuffed in the smaller room, and the one that, like, was responsible for, like, helping with the other kids and doing things like that. And minding your manners so other adults wouldn't have weird feelings and stuff, and like no, you deserve more. And I said, don't you believe that you deserve more? And he goes, well, yeah, we're still working on that. He's got some self-esteem stuff that I'm helping him with, and I know Spirit's helping him with. I'm really excited for his birthday coming up. I feel bad that we don't have like our own space for his birthday. Like I feel like we're gonna be in this space over his birthday. And I know that like we can make that work, but it's like I would have no problem inviting like 6 people over to come hang out in our trailer and like just squish in and hang out with him. But I know a lot of people wouldn't want to do that or don't have the time or things like that. And it's like so, but I'm really like we've got I think I've heard of at least 5 or 6 people that we know of through our various adventures and different groups and things like that who are going to come to his, it's a little bit before his birthday, but it's a karaoke birthday party at our favorite all ages public house up in Arlington. And other people have sent him gifts. There's a man that I don't even know him. He's just a local man. He seems like a really cool person. I'm glad I met him. And he sent a new bird cage. We're waiting for it. It should be here any day. Like an appropriate sized bird cage for Squeak with the bars and the right angles and stuff like that. And he sent some food and pellets that we already got. And a few other people are gonna send some stuff because they can't show up, but they're gonna send some stuff to us. And now we have an actual mailing address to receive some stuff at, and that's really cool. And like I don't know, I'm just praying to Spirit. Like, I know I put out that prayer video the other day. It was like, please and thank you for helping me make this more, not just comfortable. Like, I don't want it to just be comfortable. I want it to be magical. You know what I mean? I want this to somehow be some kind of a really cool, magical experience for both my boys, not just Eamon. Like, because I'd like Joey to be able to come over and do more too. And I certainly don't see us going backwards from here. I mean, it's possible. We might end up in the cars again, but I know that I've gotten better at adjusting my trajectory energetically and being able to manifest more. And it's like, part of it is I'm exhausted. I had to admit to myself, I'm like, I'm fucking tired. Like, I mean, first it's been like all my life that I've been carrying a lot of stuff for people, and then like trying to go through stuff and like have faith where I would normally like push through something as a Capricorn and like be patient with other people who do things in a piratey way or in a slow way or things like that, and like to keep looking for different things to become whole with, you know, just continuing to alchemize things, and then just trusting in like trusting Spirit, like in the direction that I've pulled in, and listening to my, you know, my emotions, my inner GPS system. And so far it's going better and better, and that's something I'm glad that I predicted to my son that has been coming true. It was like, you know what, we're gonna keep going in an upward trajectory. Like the places that we have been from that started in certain low vibrations, like we continue to get better and better bit by bit in each situation that we get in. And I've just been continuing to follow my compass of my dreams and my goals and my glow up, no matter what situation we're in. That's why I'm still on here making videos. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still here for y'all. I'm still doing stuff that I love. I'm still, you know, following the energy. And you know what? I took a scenic route today. To go to a metaphysical store that I thought it was a new one that I had not been to. It's actually one that I went to once before, and it was a very significant day not long before I went on that road trip. And it's funny because I argued with my spirit team. I got a new deck, and I was like, but I don't want to spend money on it. And they were like, okay, if you keep being in that vibration of not wanting to spend money, including on things that you like, that make you feel good, you know, you're going to manifest more ickier situations. So damn it, go get a new deck, because your other cards need to be cleansed. And I realized they do. I mean, like they've been sitting in the Explorer, and they definitely went through some hard times at one of the last places that we stayed at. They got dish soap on them, or not dish soap, laundry detergent on them and stuff like that. And like, I actually laugh. I got my regular Rider Straight deck. It's got the cleanest energy now. Like, it's totally been cleansed because it got laundry detergent on it from one of the cold nights. I had a little Tide Pod in my backpack next to it, and I didn't think for any reason that it would burst. We weren't doing anything where it should have pressure on it, but apparently when they get very, very cold, they can burst. And they did all over one of my card decks. But I realized too, like, a lot of those decks are full of energy from the past few years of things that have been released or shifting or moving, and it's like, okay, I do need to cleanse that. But I really want to get back into my tarot readings too and doing more of that, especially because yesterday I talked to a gal in one of the metaphysical shops I've been talking to for a while about doing a class there, and she's been wanting me to teach astrology there for a while. We got talking about it. Like, I'm probably going to do it. I think I put in the community section a class called Astrology You Can Understand. And I'm trying to figure out how to do other classes that aren't just astrology but are along that sort of thing, like almost the guide for dummies sort of thing, but not like, definitely not a guide for dummies. I'm not speaking to people who are not smart, because y'all are smart. Just some things are written in older archaic languages that, if you have a translator, it can make it easier. You know what I mean? And just like how to apply things to everyday life, because I could think of a ton of ways to do that. And I just had another conversation with somebody at the store today, that the newer-ish one, about like mixing certain minerals and metals together and what sort of energy that could create if you did that, and how intriguing that would be. And she was really amazed at how I explained how the energies could intermingle on a ring that had certain metal and mineral properties, that it was like, that's an interesting combination. But like, I want this, like, we're like almost there. It's funny because I know that I did some videos that were like almost there, and is this our last night? And it's funny because both were true in that, and I knew that, like, the situation that we're in, I tried some creative stuff and reached out in some creative places because I knew there might be like a middle time. Oh, that's funny. The AMC Gremlin. What a synchronicity. Because those are my initials, and that's something that my youngest son saw in his game, and that's what my grandpa on my mother's side used to call me, as Gremlin, because my initials were AMC. In any case, I want it to be magical for my son. Like, I want some cool stuff to happen for him. His 17th year. I mean, that's the star card, the wishes fulfilled card, right? I want him to get to have a good relationship with his dad, my DM, and have him start being the one to reach out more and want to connect with him and want to do that stuff. And like, I want him to get to be a quote-unquote normal teenager. That's what we talked about that he wanted. And like, I know all that stuff can happen while we're in the space that we're in. And I know that somehow I can manage to get more work, to do these classes, and to be the mom that he deserves to have, and that my youngest deserves to have, and have things be magical and flowing and easy and fun, But until then, you know what? To be honest, I am proud of myself. Even though the job went the way that it went, like, I totally turned myself around in terms of, like I've always been a good worker. That's my deal. I've always been a good worker, hard worker. I like working. I'm a good manager. I'm a good grunt. I can do all that stuff. But I did used to be late a lot, and I used to, like, get into negative thinking a lot when I was working, which a lot of people do. I even, like, it was renewed in this place that I was like, man, people really do. Like, they just don't like anything about life. And, like, I'm over here, like, I'm grateful to be doing the dishes. Like, I get paid to do the dishes. Woohoo, But I'm really proud of myself. I was early all but, like, one day, and that one day I was only 2 minutes late. And, like, I clocked in early many days as requested of me. And stayed late when it wasn't wasting labor and it was needed. And, like, I tried to be a team player as much as I could, like helping in spaces where there was gaps and things like that. And, like, I tried not to be so persnickety about people following the rules and things like that, and just, like, learning the flow of things. And I learned about why I have blocks in the financial sector, because I keep manifesting the dynamics that I had with my adopted mother. And I'm like, oh, well, I mean, now at least I have some idea of how I can change that around. I'm getting there. And now we're in, like, look at it. I manifested a one-bedroom situation, right? like, it's not exactly the house all in one space. And it's actually, like, what's funny is I wanted, like, 1919, I wanted, like, our 100-acre woods, really, like, we were looking absolute minimum 2.5 acres. 5 would be more preferable, but I would love something that would be like 20 acres and, like, especially wooded, because it's a lot easier to take care of, and hence the whole 100-acre woods thing. Like, I want to be able to have my Winnie the Pooh adventures out in there. It's my idea I've always joked about. And And because there's been so many things I've learned over the last couple of years, it's like what you don't necessarily want to like go focusing on money itself or things like that. Focus on the thing that you want and like get in that stream of consciousness for it. And like it's like getting the real estate science job that showed me where there was more real estate, and like now, okay, we're in a temporary living situation. It's not 100% of everything that we want, but it's got most of the factors of everything that we want. And it's like, yes, this is the stream of consciousness that we want to be on. Now, like, I'm going to get to walk the property too, so I can, like, really feel like, okay, this is what 10 acres feels like. How freaking cool is that? You know what I mean? And, like, and I'm learning about what it takes to care for that sort of property and what kinds of things you can and can't do with it, and unincorporated areas, and, like, the different tax stuff set up with it, like all sorts of stuff. Like there's a lot of really good information that I am going to need when I'm going to have my own homestead, right? And I love that. Like I love everything about it. So I'm just like, I'm enjoying that gratitude. I'm gonna have to get off of here because I have to go in. Well, I want to go in and talk to my therapist. It'll be fun. But I will update y'all as things, you know, get moving and whatnot. But we're almost there. I think at most a couple of months in this place, I will preferably blah 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 have us in our own housing soon. And I don't know exactly how it's going to happen, because I know that it wouldn't necessarily be the means of taking on, like, you know, a minimum wage or just above minimum wage job. There'd have to be another way to do it. I don't know if it's some sort of thing that I can do for y'all on this channel, or if it's one of the classes I want to teach, or what, but I'm open to it because I know it can happen. I know, like, look at all the magical stuff that's happened for us even in the midst of all the craziness. Like, magic exists. Manifestation is definitely real and worthy of pursuing, and I mean, even if it don't exist anyways, it makes my life feel a lot more fun, and I like that. So I will talk to you all in the next video. Thanks for watching.